I'm Jennifer Gramling from Online Learning and Academic Programs, and I just want to thank everyone for participating in Online Learning Week and for joining our panel presentation and discussion today about quality in online education. This is an important topic, especially as we continue to grow the number of programs we offer and the number of online students we hope to serve. It's not a new concept. If you have been involved in online teaching and learning for more than about 10 minutes, you've probably had a conversation with a colleague or someone in your own family or a complete stranger about how we can promote and facilitate and measure quality in online courses and programs. And so today we're going to attempt to tackle at least a portion of this topic. And I am serving as the panel moderator, and I'm privileged to have some colleagues of ours from some of the other campuses join us today, colleagues from UT-Chattanooga, UT-Martin, UT-Southern, as well as my own colleague, Cris Emberton from UT-Knoxville. But before I have everyone introduce themselves, I want to start with a question. So I'm going to share. All right, I'm going to do several things here. I'm going to put a link in the chat so everyone can hopefully participate in this little poll. And so the question is, go back here and share my screen. What 3 words come to mind when you think of quality in online education? There may be a lot more than 3 for you, but if you can just enter 3 of those, we're going to take a look in a few minutes and see what all of us are thinking when it comes to quality. If there's anyone who can't access this based on the link in the chat, let me know, and I'll try another way. We'll look at the results. So in just a second. All right, so now I'm going to share my screen and introduce you to the panelists. Actually, I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves. Adam Wilson, who is the director of online programs at UT-Martin, just texted me, and apparently they've had a big storm roll through there just recently, and they're having some connectivity issues. And so he is going to jump in and join us as soon as he can, hopefully. But how about Jennifer Glaab? Would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Adam was jumping in saying he's here. Hi, my name is Jennifer Glaab. I'm a senior instructional designer at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I also serve as our Quality Matters coordinator for the university, and also a peer reviewer for Quality Matters.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's nice to see you today. Adam, you made it. I'm glad there wasn't too much commotion with the storm.
Yes, thank you. Adam Wilson, I am the director of online programs at UT-Martin, and have been doing this for about 6 years now. Very happy to join this panel and talk about our efforts to ensure quality in our online programs.
Thank you, Adam. I'm sorry I missed you on Saturday at the tailgate.
It's all right. It was a busy game, and so it was good.
It was a busy game. It was a nice turnout. Lots of families were there. That's a nice thing. Thank you, Adam, so much. Next, we have Cris Emberton.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cris Emberton. I'm an instructional designer with online learning and academic programs here at UT-Knoxville. And prior to this position, I joined UT in the family and consumer science with extension, and I was the e-learning developer for that department. So I'm glad to be here and be part of this wonderful panel.
Thank you, Cris. We appreciate you taking the time to join and lead another session today. This is your second time out. And last but certainly not least, brand new mom. We're so happy she's come back, and we're so happy she can join us. Haley Kinder from UT Southern.
I am Haley Kinder. I've been the distance learning coordinator here at UT Southern now for 2 years. So kind of still feeling new, especially with the transition recently. I'm excited to be a part of this and be a part of the bigger picture of UT now. It's been great.
Okay, thank you so much, Haley. We really appreciate all of you taking your time today to join us and to talk to us a little bit about the efforts at your campuses to promote quality assurance. We all have online programs at our institutions, and so we've all sort of approached quality, some similarities, some differences. So I think this will be a hopefully very useful discussion today. We're going to frame that discussion, like I said, around what individual campuses have done, but then we really want to open this up for more of a discussion or a Q&A, whatever questions you may have for folks on the panel, if you have specific questions or general questions. I know many of you on this in this meeting have been dealing with this at the course level or the program level for many years. And so I'm also interested to hear about your experiences with this topic. So I'm going to put another link in the chat for everyone so we can look at the results of this little poll. And I will also share my screen. It's always the sharing of the screen that gets me in these Zooms. Okay. Oh, we got some good stuff here. And right away, I see engaging and engagement. Probably engaging students, engaging with content, certainly faculty-student engagement, flexibility, equity. It's a really important topic. I was just reading an article about that recently. Accessible, detailed, like that. Clear, community, collaborative, clearly engagement is something that many of you, and that I'm sure that's probably would have been one that I would have put in there too as well. We're going to hear about these in various ways today. We may not touch on all of these, but some of these are very prevalent in the literature in terms of what the research tells us about quality in online education. So yay. Okay, thank you all for doing that. So now stop sharing, and I'm going to stop talking because we're going to turn it over to our experts on the panel. Maybe if I cannot mess this up. Okay. And I'm just going to go alphabetically here. So we're going to start with Jennifer Glaab at UT-Chattanooga, and she's going to tell us about their quality initiative, which has really been centered a lot around quality matters. So thank you, Jennifer. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. So I've been at the university for about 3 years now, a little bit over 3 years. Some of this is historical that I was not present when it started happening, but in summer of 2015, we became a member of Quality Matters. And if you're not familiar with what Quality Matters is, it's just an internationally recognized peer review program that has a higher education rubric and other rubrics as well. It has 8 general standards and 43 specific standards to look at the effectiveness of the online course design. It is really based on meeting outcomes, that everything in the courses are aligned to those outcomes. You can go back, Jennifer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. So everything should be in alignment, like there is a purpose for doing all of the activities and assessments in the class, and that our students come out at the end of the day and be successful in attaining those outcomes. So just a brief history, in summer 2015, we became a member of Quality Matters. And we really just piloted by doing internal course reviews. So Quality Matters uses a peer review process. That process requires 3 reviewers. There's a master reviewer, a subject matter expert, and another internal reviewer. So we started doing those reviews internally with business courses, and really just looked at the effectiveness against the standards of our business courses. In fall 2015, we began using external course reviews. That means we have reviewers at other universities actually work with our faculty and look at our courses and compare for meeting the certifications or meet the standards for course certification. In spring 2017, we actually adopted a policy, and I would call this the initial really implementation of the program here. That policy required new faculty to complete the Quality Matters, Applying the Quality Matters rubric workshop. We do pay all the registration fees for our faculty to do that. In a big way, we met all of our new faculty is through our Teaching and Learning Institute. And so that was incorporated inside of the initial class that all of our new faculty go through. Then we'll look at some data in just a second. I'm going to show you how the data shows us the increase in participation and the increase in certified courses between the summers of 2015 and today. We also designed in spring 2017 a course redesign program, and faculty could go through that program and they could develop their course dependent upon the standards, and then go through the certification process. So there was a $2,000 stipend. There was $1,000 given at the end of the course redesign and $1,000 at the conclusion of the certification process. My understanding is when you implement a policy that says all new faculty have to take a specific course, it was not received very well. But we continued on, and then COVID happened. So in spring 2020, pretty much everything went to emergency remote teaching, and we really just couldn't implement any policy or enforce any policy to look at quality assurance of online classes. We did suspend the course redesign program, but we continued to award the stipend for the actual QM certification, and that was the $1,000. In fall 2021, we actually removed the QM requirement from the Teaching and Learning Institute. That means our new faculty who are going through that institute did not have to take the Applying the Quality Matters rubric workshop. Our course had been redesigned a little bit, and not everybody took online classes. And again, there was a lot of conflict of why are we actually enforcing this? Today, we continue to award the stipend for the QM certification. We do not enforce any policy. It is no longer in the Teaching and Learning Institute. We do continue to pay registration fees for the Applying the Quality Matters rubric course. But we are planning on implementing some sort of policy to require QM certification or equivalent in online and hybrid courses. So that's still being talked at the executive leadership level. I don't know what's going to happen, but it does require us to have a really good plan and just a lot of thought behind that and a lot of people to help make that happen. So Jennifer, if you go to the next page, I just wanted to look at some of our data that I can show. So the blue indicators here of the folks who actually completed the Applying the Quality Matters rubric workshop. As you can see, when the policy was implemented in 2017, it really took off. Now we are, our FTE here is 11,500 students. I'm not quite sure how many faculty we have, but this being a policy for new faculty, I think that 134 is pretty good for us. That means the policy was being enforced or at least followed. We did have 24 certifications that 2017 year, moving up to 36 and 45 the next years. And then you see as COVID happened, we dropped down, only 13 that year, 5 last year. We're about 5 this year so far. So as you can see, the numbers really have dropped quite a bit. I did put the percentage in gray, which is pretty much nil. That means 29% of our online and hybrid courses are currently QM certified. If you want to go to the next slide. This is just a view of our courses. So these are not numbers of courses, these are sections of courses. And as you can see, the blue is our face-to-face classes. So predominantly we have, more face-to-face. As COVID happened, you can see a big shift into online, and now going into the last year, 21-22, we see that we have a lot more online classes than we did prior to COVID. So we're at 32.78% hybrid or online classes. So this really just shows that we had a really big decrease in the amount of faculty being trained and the amount of certified courses, yet our online courses are increasing. Therefore, saying there is an absolute need for quality assurance in online classes. Jennifer, is there anything else you wanted me to say?
No, thank you. Appreciate all the good data points there. We will probably be coming back during the discussion to learn a little bit more. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. So Cris, Emberton. Yes, I can alphabetize quickly. Yes, Cris is next from UT Knoxville.
Hi, everybody. So if you attended, if you were on here at 10 o'clock this morning, this is going to be pretty much the same information that I just provided, some of it. So I don't have nearly as much wonderful data as Jennifer just did, but we are still in a transition phase, I would say. So the Office of Online Learning and Academic Programs, as I had mentioned before, we initially were total and complete support for faculty moving to online quickly and suddenly. And as Jennifer just talked about, the need for quality assurance became apparent. So our department went out and recruited and had departments nominate a cohort to design and develop a set of standards based on quality matters, and also the Oscar SUNY rubric. Now, we also looked at other rubrics and collaborated on many ideas, universal design for learning, some other equity and inclusion rubrics, and came up with a set of standards that we felt fit University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So the one of the things that we did, we really thought through was reaching out to other institutions and finding out what worked and what didn't work. Jennifer Glaab was one of those people. We talked to Jennifer extensively about, their challenges and their processes with going with Quality Matters and how they implemented it. I spoke many times with a Quality Matters coordinator at Bama by Distance, University of Alabama. And it really, our biggest concern was implementation and faculty support and buy-in into the rubric. We wanted to really make sure that we did not want to approach this as this is something they have to use. We wanted to approach it as something this is going to support course design, course development, and also ongoing courses that are already been built. So anyway, as it states on my slide, the faculty and staff cohort collaborated to create the Engaged Online Course rubric. And this included annotations and examples. The cohort lasted about 2 semesters. We started in fall of 2021. We took a small break through the holidays, and then we kept going in the spring, and we're able to tie up everything in the standards, except for all the annotations and examples and resources. A lot of the instructional designers that are part of OLAP contributed to helping us pull together some resources and really good, strong examples to accompany the standards. The cohort received a stipend for their participation and work. And then after, we basically took a break over the summer, and that gave me a chance to pull together a lot of the tools that I presented earlier, the checklist, the complete document that with the annotations and examples. And then at the end of the summer, that's when we pulled together a team to start the pilot. So again, I'm extremely excited that our pilot has started. The pilot team is, and I kind of skipped over down to the last bullet, but I guess I'm just really excited about the pilot. So we are using, because UTK is also part of Quality Matters, and we have a subscription and a membership with them. They have some really great tools in Quality Matters, and the pilot team is using a reviewer tool where it's called the Custom Reviewer tool, My Custom Review, and we are able to upload custom rubrics. So this is testing that system, and the review team. We have a Math 125 course that they're going to be they are reviewing currently, and they are using this tool in Quality Matters, and it's a great way for them to provide evidence and then also suggestions, and also whether a standard is met or not met. And then the process will move on to a report that can be printed out. This will be discussed with the instructor. If there's standards that are not met, and we are going with the Quality Matters 85% rule. So a lot of the processes and the review team, we're following the structure of Quality Matters. And what we're hoping is that by doing the pilot review, we'll be able to kind of massage the structure, how it works best for UT Knoxville. And So anyway, the right now, the schedule and the schedule of the pilot, we hope to have it completed around the beginning of December. And then we'll go into an evaluation and some feedback in January. So the hope is that all the structure and the processes I'll be able to nail down, and we'll be able to hopefully launch a certified option to UT Knoxville by the end of the spring. That is the hope. And again, it's something that we've developed. It'll be similar to Quality Matters, as in there's a badge presented, but again, we got to hash all those details out. So back to my holistic approach, as I talked about previous in my presentation, we really look at our standards holistically, where it can work together with the Canvas course shell that OIT provides, and then also the online course syllabus that provides a great template to begin building an online course syllabus, and then also the Jumpstart course that OLAP offers to faculty to really just dive in deep to building an online course. And again, it's a way that we look at it holistically. All these things support the standards, and the standards support all these things, all these resources. So I think that's pretty much where we're at, what we've got. Again, there's a few tools that are available now. The rubric is also available, so it's out there and people can use it. And we hope to have a high-level designation process available toward the end of the spring. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Cris. Appreciate that. Next up, let's hear from UT Martin.
Yes, thanks, Jennifer. So UT Martin's been doing online programs and full degree programs for a while now. We had at one time, when we were a Blackboard school, a how to teach online course that involved doing some online things and then also coming together for a session on campus. I came into this role about 6 years ago, right about the time we were transitioning to Canvas. And so we decided that we were going to beef up that faculty development and really focus on quality. We looked at the Quality Matters rubric. We looked at some other national standards and came up with the idea of these week-long summer workshops for faculty. And so what we do in those is a group of about 20 to 30 faculty will join with our instructional design team. They will go over the rubric. They will look at new tools. If they're really a beginner in Canvas, we'll have kind of a beginner's course for them to get them up to speed on that. But really the idea is to have time to discuss, what are those standards, to discuss pedagogy, to discuss, conceptually how we engage students online, and then also give them time to put those tools to use. And so they spend some of their time actually putting pieces of a course together during this week. And then they're given time afterwards to finish up that course. We utilize this rubric, and the rubric, as it's already been mentioned, we've used Quality Matters, but the SUNY rubric is something we've looked at. Actually today, I joined some of the earlier conversations where Cris was talking about the new rubric that UTK's done, and I sent them a link to that and said, hey, let's look at this and compare it to what we're doing and see, there are things we need to add. And so about once a year, we'll get together and reevaluate that rubric and make sure it includes what we're wanting it to include. Faculty then submit this course. It is graded against the rubric. We provide them feedback, and then they're asked to offer that course during the next academic year. For that process, we do provide a stipend for faculty, and really the idea there is to encourage faculty to come in and to learn about how to put together a quality online course, how to put engaging items into an online course, and to encourage them to set up their courses in that manner. Now that's kind of the beginner level workshops that we've done. We also recently have added these teaching squares where we get faculty that have already been through the summer workshop, some of those who've shown some really innovative approaches, and we get them into these teaching squares. And it's really just about discussing what they're doing in their online classes, trying to get them maybe to try something new in their class that one of the other faculty members have had success with, talk about challenges that they have seen in teaching online, and then be able to also present at those summer workshops to some of our newer faculty that haven't taught online before. So that's kind of the way that we have set up our online course development and our online rubric. The only other thing that I would add is, through this, we really were very fortunate whenever COVID hit, because we were looking at our faculty who had been trained teaching online and our faculty that had not been, and about half of our faculty had already been through the summer workshops at that point in time. So that was a very big benefit to us whenever we got to that point, that we still had a lot of faculty that needed help. We had a lot of faculty that did understand how to go about creating an online course and how to do it in a way that would be engaging to students, and how important that engagement is. So even though it was difficult, I do think that this set us up very well for that kind of crisis situation. So happy in a moment to answer any of your questions about our processes or about other items, but just wanted to briefly kind of talk about how UT Martin has done this. And again, this is what we started about 6 years ago.
Great, thank you, Adam. That whole teaching squares concept seems very, very interesting. I may have to follow up with you on that. And now let's hear from Haley at UT Southern.
So my little spiel here probably won't be as long because we're still kind of in the beginning stages of all this. And I know some of us are probably tired of hearing about the pandemic when it comes to online learning, but while some may find that it was a hindrance to them, it really launched our online efforts. So though it was difficult in the beginning, it has really helped us realize the need to build up our online presence, at least on our campus. Right now, we don't offer fully online programs, but we are building our online courses up so that hopefully we can get some online programs to offer to our students, because we're still trying to see kind of the buy-in for that, on what programs maybe we need to look at offering online. So again, recently, what we used to be Martin Methodist has gone through a few changes, and I'll start with the pandemic. So our faculty before the pandemic, when we were Martin Methodist, weren't really versed in the online world. So when the pandemic hit, we immediately entered survival mode. We had no other choice, and that's what got our feet on the ground. And I actually found a little niche in that. It's been a learning experience, very appreciative for it. Everyone on our campus has just really taken off with what we've needed to do, and then becoming UT Southern and being able to see what the other schools are doing. We've been able to kind of start a structure for our online classes. So our big concern whenever we entered our survival mode was making sure that students were still able to be successful. And because we're so small, and the students that we attracted to Martin Methodist, we saw a lot of students just kind of struggle with that, because what we learned, we sent out a survey and learned that most of them would prefer to be face-to-face. So once that first initial shock of the pandemic hit, we needed to figure out how we can get these students engaged back into these classes, because at the time we had no other choice but to have those online or hybrid. So once we learned that, and becoming UT, a part of the UT system, we started taking the backwards approach to our online course design, which is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. So we started with equipping our faculty with more knowledge about online learning and online design, because we didn't have a very many of our faculty who had taught online, so they weren't aware on how to make their instruction more engaging for students and to offer just a diverse set of resources for them to be successful. And what we're doing right now is, and recently, just in August, we have workshops at the beginning of every semester, and that's when we introduced our rubric. We're not making that a requirement for online classes because we didn't want to shock our faculty again. So we just made them aware that there is a rubric, and that they can begin creating their courses using the standards and the descriptions that we have provided for them that make an online course successful. And we're hoping that probably coming this next semester, we're going to start having them self-evaluate their courses using that rubric, then move to, we can use their self-evaluations, and then I will look at, because we are so small, that I can actually look at all those, and we're going to start kind of comparing what they feel like is working for their classes and what we feel like could improve those, and then start incorporating more of like the QM processes with that. But we're taking it extremely slow with that, just so that we don't continue to shock our faculty. Some other things we're doing to kind of help is our faculty and students is we've created or we're building our knowledge base for our technology and our online instructional resources. I know I'm putting together videos and things, because before that we didn't have anything, and we are actually still using Moodle as our LMS, and so we are trying our best, because we're in the talks of moving to Canvas, which is very high possibility. So everything we're doing is that we're trying to structure everything for Moodle, but it also worked for Canvas in the future. We are providing small group workshops. Also, we have gotten a new set of faculty come in, so our onboarding efforts have changed, which has been phenomenal. They are picking up on all the processes really well, but we're hoping that by maybe next year we start using that rubric for more than just faculty self-evaluations for their courses, and begin using more of QM's processes. And we do plan on starting the applying QM rubric workshops for faculty. We're going to have a set number of them to complete that, to kind of build more of that buy-in, so that we can get more of those, and then eventually get to some QM certified courses.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I put in the chat that small steps are great. That's a lot of things that you have identified, and seems like are planning to put into place, which I think has made and will make a big difference. So yes, a lot of this does have to be dealt with. You can't really sometimes deal with these things all at once. So, and thank you for sharing that with us, Haley. So now we want to take a little bit of time. We don't have as much time as I'd hoped. We have about 6 minutes, but questions or comments for the panel. You can put those in the chat. You can just, speak up. And if there's anything we don't get to, we can follow up in an email. And if no one has questions, I can ask a question. But if there's anything you all would like to know more about, or sharing any experiences that you've had, one kind of theme I noticed through everybody's discussion, and it's not surprising, is faculty and the importance of engaging faculty and seeking and getting faculty buy-in. And I wondered if, because we also have some faculty in the session, and so I'm wondering if the panel would be willing to share some insight about the importance, the critical importance of faculty in the process of thinking about quality assurance from a broad perspective, but also certainly when we get to course quality rubrics and standards, how you might, you know, how did you get faculty buy-in, and do you have any recommendations? And do the faculty in the session have thoughts on this as well? You know, where does that sit with you all in terms of, we do want to be part of this? How can we be engaged?
I definitely want to be involved with everything possible with this, but I think I sort of maybe stand out in my department in that way.
Oh, that you want to be involved
with everything asynchronous and online all the way. I'm loving it, but I think that my department in general may not feel the way I do in terms of faculty.
Well,
so.
Amy and Laura, I'm writing your names down. I see, because I think that's critical. And you know, being open and receptive to hearing feedback from faculty, and Cris can probably speak to this, is huge.
Yeah, I was gonna, you know, when Amy was talking, the first thing that came to my head, and I'm surprised that I didn't say this in either of my presentations, faculty champions. We've got to find, we have to have champions that can see the value in this. And, you know, so instructors like Amy and, you know, Brian Stevens and others that, Karen Lassiter in nursing, you know, these are people that will, I don't know how else to say it, spread the word. It's, you know, and that it's not somehow demonstrating that the work that is the front end work relieves so much of the work on in the back end, you know, and it is a lot of work in the front end, but to follow the standards and really create a well-designed online course. And Amy can attest to this too. It's ongoing as well. You know, there's small steps too that you can take. So that's one thing I'll just put out there, that, you know, finding champions that are supportive and positive about what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing that you mentioned there, is that the faculty champions are huge. And, you know, one of the methods we've taken is that if you have a faculty champion interested, then go to the department chair and talk about, you know, is there a way we can do a study and get some data collected to then present to the rest of the department so they can see the value of this? You know, if they have concerns about certain aspects, what are those concerns? I'd argue that probably one of the more recent ones was online labs. There's a lot of concern over how do you do labs for lab sciences online. And so, you know, we've done some things with the departments to get those faculty champions and then have them talk to their colleagues, because that colleague can really calm concerns better than maybe I can, because, you know, I'm coming from the side that, yeah, I really want you to put these things online. A faculty member, you know, may be able to say, yeah, this has been just as good or better for my students than what I was doing previously. And that goes a long way.
My department is asking for statistics to prove that online can be anywhere near as good as face-to-face. They want proof. So that's one of the words that's come up. Some sort of proof to them that it can be the same or as good or better. So
yeah, there's been research going on for 20 years in the value of online courses. One of the resources I can probably give you is DETA, D-E-T-A. They have a whole research bank of all of the research that proves that online is just as effective as face-to-face. Quality Matters also has their own research too. You can visit their website at qualitymatters.org, and they also provide that sort of data.
Yeah.
Hey, Amy,
I'm sorry.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to say, this is Kate from Social Work. We've published 3 articles on this. So if your department would like to see something from UT specific, I can get you that.
Great. Thank you,
Thank you
Kate.
so much. That would be fantastic. I think that would really help.
That would be great. There's also a university, I think it's Oregon State University, that has this and has for a long time, this database of research around whether the quality is the same and the rigor and all of that stuff, but lots of empirical studies, and it's for however many years, probably 25 years. And so I can send that information out about accessing that.
Thank you so much. I think that would make a really big difference.
Yes.
Laura
Okay.
made a great, I'm sorry to interrupt. Jim.
No, I was gonna point out Laura's comment.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, she's made a great, and in the cohort developing our standards, many times it was mentioned that so many of these standards can be applied to face-to-face teaching as well. So, yeah, if you look at the chat, Laura's made an excellent point about such opportunity applying these methods to current in-person courses as our enrollment numbers grow.
And I meant making the in-person an online as well. So my courses have doubled in how many students I teach in the 5 years that I've been here, and we don't have rooms large enough to accommodate. So students either extend their graduation or we manage, and it's a perfect opportunity for online learning. And it's complementing and complemented by the in-person learning. It's not your normal model, but that's a great way to apply all the work you guys have done in the rubrics. And like Amy, I don't see people in my department being really excited about it. And I can see them applying so much of what we learned in the Jumpstart cohort in their in-person coursework. So I can't wait to see this grow.
Yay. Well, thank you all so very much. I'm sorry we don't have enough time to talk more, but hopefully we can re-engage at some point. We have to end this because Dr. Jason Johnston has a great presentation that he would like to start. So thank you all. Our contact information is on this screen. Please feel free to reach out at any time. I appreciate you all being here.